Good morning, everybody. How are we all today? I hope you're having a fabulous day. Today is Trishcraft Tuesday time, so I'm going to work with a tissue box today. So my name is Belinda and this is Visualized NZ. So a tissue box. I love tissue boxes. I think they are so usable and they've got some really interesting features and often really interesting patterns on them. So I've done a few projects with tissue boxes before. This time I'm going to work with this section here that's got the tear out strip. So I'm going to cut that out first. So all I've done so far is just simply unfolded the box, torn apart all the seams. And so now I'm just going to cut out this little panel here. So I hope you all had a wonderful weekend. I know that you're watching it. The weekend is probably feeling like a distant event, but it's not all that long ago really, is it? For me it was yesterday because I'm filming this on Monday, but for you it's probably a couple of days now since the weekend. Right, so I'm going to keep these bits that I'm cutting off because they can be used for other things. These bits I'll probably throw away. I can't immediately see a function for them, and I've got bits of glue and stuff on them, so I'm just going to sacrifice them, probably to the fire actually. They'll help me light the fire tomorrow morning if hubby doesn't do it. He normally does. When it's cold he normally lights the fire first thing in the morning, but if it's like a bit, you know, not too bad, then he'll leave it to me to do later in the day. So the fire this morning has been going since around 6 o'clock this morning because it's a rainy old day here. Okay, so we've got this really cool panel with this shape, and I'm going to remove the plastic from the inside, tear it off, and that will go in the rubbish. I do not have a use for that at all with all the brand plastered across it. Okay, so now we've got this really cool aperture. Sorry, the cats are just having a spat if you heard that hiss. And it's got these little serrated point teeth, I guess, where the tear out strip was torn out. So I'm just going to run my scissors around and neaten that up a little bit. I'm going to have a whole lot of little bits on my mat to clean off. So just letting my scissors guide themselves almost around at the bottom of the teeth. So it's just a little less jaggedy. There are little bits further around where it was attached. You can trim those off or leave them. It depends how fussy you want to be. So again on this side, just going to come in, and I'm being a bit less careful this time. I'm just getting stuck to my scissors. And if you take a little bit more than what the teeth were, it doesn't matter. Just to smooth out some of those little humps and bumps. There we go. Okay, let's get rid of this little mess I've got. Just going to scoot it into my little rubbish bottle. And we're ready for the next stage. So I've left some of these humpy bumpy bits. I'm not worried about that. And what I thought I would make with this today is maybe a journal topper. Well, yes, a journal topper. So this is my standard size journal. This is my personal journal for May, which I absolutely love. If you haven't seen it before, there is a video of me making it. I just love it. It's so cool. And I did nothing to it apart from cover it in cover seal, book cover, and add a label for the date. And it's just, I just love it, because who cannot love this subject? It's just a piece of my childhood. Okay, so anyway, back to the project. So this, I think, will make a really cool journal topper. Maybe want to trim it down a little bit. So let's do that first. I'm going to take a bit off the top and a bit off the bottom. And I'm not worried whether it's equal or not. I don't think it matters. Okay, so I'm just going to trim it off. Fling it round and do the other end. And we're going to do about there. Okay, let's check that. Yeah, so whatever goes underneath this needs to be something that you don't mind covering up a lot of it, because it's going to take up quite a bit of real estate on a cover. But that's great for those plainer covers. That's all good. So I thought I want to put some acetate or something on here, like a window. I did not grab any out, but here's a bit here. It's a bit crunkled. I'll pull that word out again, a bit crunkled, but I think it will be okay. Got a flattish bit here. I'm going to trim roughly around the edges. It's got a fold there, which is just being a pain. So the fold won't be in the aperture, so it's okay. Get rid of that. Right, now we can do something. Okay. It's a bit beat up, but it's a junk journal. So do we really mind? Do we really mind a bit beat up here and there? And I would say no. Okay, there's a little, what's that? Little double layer there. Let's trim that off, tidy that up. It's probably quite hard for you to see me working with this acetate, given that it's very clear. Okay, so this has got a, let's trim off that fold, because that's really bugging me. It's not fun to play with. So let's get it out of our way, like so. And now we've just got a little bit of a funky edge here. Again, that's got a double layer on it. So we'll get rid of that as well. It's the price you pay for working with trash, as it's not perfect. It's not flat. It's often crunkled, or in other people's language, crinkled. Or, you know, got some other issue with it. But that's part of the joy, part of the challenge. Okay, just double checking. It's a little bit, could do with a little bit more off this edge. Oops. Let's actually try and cut the plastic. Okay, I reckon that's a pretty good size. Okay, to adhere this, you could use double-sided tape. I'm kind of tempted actually to use double-sided tape. Actually, what I might do, I might go both ways and use a couple of different things. So first off, I'm going to use some double-sided tape around the aperture, and I'm not worried about sealing it completely. I'm not going to be adding glitter or anything, so don't need to worry about that. Just adhere it in enough places that it holds it nice and flat and stops it bubbling up or doing anything funny like that. So it's up to you how much tape you put on. and you can choose not to use tape. I was going to use glue, and I am still going to use glue, but in this first stage I'm just going to pop on some tape because I think it's actually going to be easier to work with. Whether that actually turns out to be true or not, we shall see. And I want to put a reasonable amount on because I do want to hold it nice and flat. But I'm not going to worry about getting every single little piece, as if, you know, if I was making a shaker type thing, then you'd want to cover all the gaps. But I'm not doing that. Just oops, rolls running away. And this tape is really affordable. It's only $2 a roll, so I'm not worried about wasting it. It's not a waste, it's actually using it for a purpose, so it's all good. It's funny working around shapes because you can't just put a strip down and that's done. You've got to sort of work around the curves. So if you've got tissue boxes handy, or you've got tissue boxes that are coming up empty, don't throw them away. They are so usable. I've got a few projects on my Trashcraft Tuesday where I've made things from the tear off strips. So like these bits that you tear off of the tissue boxes, I've made things with those. I've done something else too. Was it die cutting or something with a tissue box? So there's a few projects out there on my channel if you want to go hunting. They'll be in the Trashcraft Tuesday playlist. I don't think they've got search term tissue box in there, so I don't know whether that would actually net any results, but certainly if you hunt back through Trashcraft Tuesday playlist, you will find some and other things as well that might interest you. So now we get the somewhat tedious part of peeling off the backing, although I actually find it kind of fun, especially when it goes well. Not so fun when you can't get the backing off because it picks up the tape as well. If that happens, I find just pressing it down and giving it a good burnish usually helps the tape stick down so you can peel the backing up. And at the moment there's no top or bottom to this. I haven't worked out whether I want, you know, which way around I want it, or whether it actually even matters at this stage. And I suspect it doesn't because I haven't even given it a thought. This one's being a bit more tricky, this piece, because it's the first piece where it was torn rather than cut. I typically cut double-sided tape, and every now and then if it suits me, because if my hands are full and I can't pick up the scissors or something, then I'll tear it. But I find it's harder to peel up off the backing when you've torn it. Okay, so we're just going to simply line this up. And smooth it down so it's nice and flat, like so. Okay, next stage is I am going to go in with glue, and I'm just going to put glue. This is my alcohol-based glue. It's really good, strong glue, and I'm going to put it around the edges of the acetate. Now, I could have used double-sided tape for the whole thing. I could have used glue for the whole thing, but I just thought this was a good idea. And it gives me double insurance, so if that one thing fails, the other will still hold. And I'm thinking about turning this into like a pocket. So I want things to be able to slide in behind it without catching on the acetate, and that's why I'm using the glue primarily, is to hold the edge down a bit flatter. Hopefully that works. the other option is to put a piece of paper or something over the whole thing once you put the acetate in, and I have thought about doing that. I won't be putting this on a journal, so I can always give it a test run and see whether I need to just cover the whole back in paper to avoid any catching issues. I'm just going to run glue right the way around. Here we go. Oops. Stand up glue. And smoothing it out a bit, just pushing that glue towards the edges a bit to give that a nice seal. Okay, done. Okay, this is coming along really quickly. So I think this is the best sealed edge, so perhaps we'll make that the top. So have I got somewhere I can just make a little mark just to remind me that that's the top, in case I kind of lose track of which way's up. Okay, it's almost like a bird shape, isn't it? Like this is a beak here and the little tail out here. You just add a little few things and you've got a bird wing down here. Actually, that's given me another idea for another day though. I've never seen it as a bird before, but I'm seeing a bird today. Okay, so I want something nice in behind, and I've got some art books and I was thinking about using one of those. And then I remembered that I have this book here, which I picked up at a book sale, and it's all roses and they are quite large pictures. As you can see, like that's a relatively small one, but they're all fairly large images and they're stunning. That's a smaller one that could go on a journal card or something, but some of these, like how would you actually use that picture in your journal, because it's monstrous, and if you fold it in half then you lose some of the essence of it. So I thought adding one of, actually that's really pretty. I've been through some of this book and I've been putting it at this little aperture against them and thinking, oh yeah, and they're all super pretty. They're all candidates. Maybe not that one because you're going to lose unless you did it like that. But basically any one of them would work in some fashion. They're just so pretty. I have chosen one out though, but I just wanted to show you, you know, how you can use some of these images that are so beautiful, but perhaps too big for what you would normally want them for. You know, so pretty. But let's go to the one I have chosen out before I put myself in a dilemma and struggle to make up my mind again. I've chosen this one because I love the colour, and two, because I like the buds sticking up so high. It kind of pulls it up and gives a nice coverage from top to bottom of the opening. So we lose a bit of the image, that's going to happen, like, you know, and we'll lose a bit off the edge. We could bring it more over here so we have more of the larger rows. Could put it in the middle. Now I'm wondering whether I want to do it with this image. Oh dear, I've just talked myself into a dilemma. That's pretty. I mean, they're all so pretty. They really are. Maybe that one. That one's pretty. Oh my goodness, make a decision, woman. See, that's lovely as well. We lose that, but oh gosh, how does one decide? There's just way too many good options that are just super pretty. That one's a smaller one, so not, that one's a bit duller. Okay, I'm back to auditioning because I'm just torn. quite like that, how it's got the rose hips in the bottom. Just brings a bit of the colour into the bottom as well. Okay, let's go with this one. I could sit here all day and debate which one I wanted to do. And it's not like I can't make more. So let's just go with this one. Because I'm sure it's not the most interesting thing in the world to watch me and ah over what I want to do. Okay, so I'm going to line this up here where I want it. Actually, in this instance, is that a good idea? No, it's probably not, because it's going to be the wrong way round. Okay, we want this little bud in here, so I need to make sure I push it up far enough. And I'm going to draw right around the outside. With my pencil, so I can rub it out if I need to. But I will be cutting it slightly smaller, so it should be all good. Here we go. Now I want to make it fit inside, so I need to leave glue space around. I probably want to go about there, maybe. And then I'll do the height once I've got that cut out. So I think the easiest thing to do to get it straight will be, I'm just going to move a few things out of my way, will be to switch my mat around here, line it up, and then cut with my craft knife. I think will be the simplest way. I think that's, I'm working slightly in the shadow from the ruler, so hopefully that's straight. Right, let's do the other side. Oh, there's something nice about being inside by a fire when it's raining outside. Don't you think so? I think there's something very cozy and just very homely about it. And it's not super, super cold, which is lovely. I think it would be colder if it wasn't raining. So just quite enjoying the coziness at the moment. I'm getting distracted by the cat hairs on my sleeve. Now where's my line? There's my line. So I've got design here and I've got blank space here. So I'm going to cut along this line and then trim down the size at this top if I need to, where the white space is. Right, now let's switch my mat back around again. There we go. So let's see how we're going. So we haven't got a lot of room there. We might need to end up trimming it slightly more. I think we will, not drastically, just a little bit. Take a little bit more off. Because I won't be gluing it down, so and because I don't know what journal it's going to end up on top of. Okay, let's try it again. That's my top. Yes, that's super pretty. I haven't actually decided what I want to do with this, whether I just leave it as is, because that marble pattern is very pretty. Like, do I want to actually mess with that? I think that's part of the attraction of the box, is that marbly design. And then we've got our splash of colour in the middle. So it's probably going to sit about there. So I think by the time we cut that off where that line is, I think we'll be good, because we'll give it a little tag top. Now you don't have to make it into a pocket. Like, you totally could just put this in the aperture and then glue the whole thing onto a journal top and call it a day, which is what I was going to do originally. And then as I was looking for an image, it's like, what if I made it into a tag that you could pull out on the front of your journal? And I just really liked that idea. I thought it was something a little bit different. It's certainly not something I've done before. And it means that you can appreciate, like, this bud here that's hidden when it's in the pocket. When you pull it out, you can appreciate more of the image. It's got a little bit of something here, which is just was on the book page. I'm not sure what it is. Oh, there we go. It rubbed off, so it's all good. Yeah, that's going to be super pretty. Okay, so I'm going to make it into a tag top. And if I change my mind, it's not going to matter, because I can still just trim the top off, glue it in behind, and glue the whole thing down. It's no real bother, because the bits I'm going to trim off for the corners are going to be hidden by the corners of the box top. So you've still got options even by doing this. You can still make it the other way. If you cut too deeply, it might interfere. So I mean, I might be cutting too deeply. I don't know. Let's try it out once I've done it. And no, I haven't. So I can still change my mind, trim off that bit showing at the top, and we've got a beautiful little topper just like that. But I like the idea of being able to pull that in and out. And as it happens, it's completely blank on the back. I was anticipating I would have to cover it, but I don't. So that's really cool. I am going to distress it. I'm not sure if I want to put a topper on it. Do I want to put some sort of topper on it? I'm not sure whether I want to make it that obvious that it comes out. I am really undecided on that. Not sure. I do need to put something up here, because when it's out, that's, you know, that's telling me it's quite plain. This is plain, but it's writing space, so you could use this as a list of things for the month, or however long your journal typically go for. You know, if you're not a monthly journaler, if you're just a random journaler, that might be I don't know, your to-do list, or your highlights of the journal, or dates, names, birthdays, phone numbers, I don't know, whatever. Could use it for whatever. Handy little pull out right on the top of your journal for things that you might want to refer to a bit more often. Oops, I've got some sponge crumbs on my desk and on my little window, on my tag. They're getting everywhere. Let's give it a little brush off. Okay, so we've got this poking up, so it does tell us that it is a tag. But like, I'm thinking for a little bit more secretive, if somebody came along and picked up your journal, wouldn't necessarily think that that's something they can remove, is what I'm thinking. So that, you know, they don't necessarily think, oh, there's something there I can pull out. If you wanted to put something there more secretive, like plans for your partner's birthday, or the children's gift list for Christmas, or, you know, those sorts of things where they might not actually realize there's something to pull out. So if I put a topper there, then it's definitely going to say pull me out. I might reserve that until I use it on a journal and decide then whether I want a topper, and it will depend on what's underneath as to I want that additional embellishment of a topper, because I think having a topper would absolutely look super pretty as well. And you could put it slightly down on the cover and pull it out a little bit more, so there's, you know, more showing, depending where your glue lines are as well too, because it probably actually will end up slightly higher anyway. Yeah, so I have saved myself time there because I did not realize the back was going to be blank, which is pretty cool. Right, let's add something up here because I do feel like it needs it. So let's see what we want in terms of a label, because I think a label would be pretty. Which way up? That way up, I think. Is it too big? Touch too big? I think that's a better size, isn't it? We haven't got any in that size with colour on, apart from a little bit of creamy browny colour. I quite like that though. Okay, I think I like that one best, but I've just spied some here with butterflies on, which would be, that's a vertical one. We'll try that. No. If it was horizontal, yes, but vertical, no. Okay. So let's keep that one out, pop these ones back, and see if we can't find, I think they're too small. Don't want an apothecary one, I think they're too small. Got some cool shaped ones. Too big. What about one of these ones? These are smaller. See a bit of pink rose. Oh, that one's got a bit folded over. Is that too similar? I like it. It's pretty. It is very pretty. We've got a subtler one there, and it's got that text on as well, a bit more of the text. This has got text as well, but this has got more visible text. I think that one, it doesn't compete as much. Okay, so these labels are from Artsology, and our ones here that we're not going to use are from Shabby Cottage Studio. So that one goes in there, and that one goes in there as well, I think. No, yes. Sometimes the sizes are so close, it's hard to work out which one it came from. Okay, so we're going to put a little label there, maybe some music. Just want a wee scrap. Maybe, is that, might be the wrong bit of scrap. Let's try it. really want it to be over the leaf. So a bit of juggling going on to make everything fit. Yes, okay, happy with that. Want a third something. I don't think I've got any tiny butterflies apart from stickers, but I think sticker would be the wrong look for this. Unless I've got a washi sticker. Do have these, which are super pretty. The birds and flowers, but let's have a look and see if there's a smallish. There's butterflies with roses. Ooh, that's pretty, but perhaps not blue. If we had that same one but in green, that would be really pretty. I think that's all one sticker there. Oh, that's a shame. I don't want to bring in blue because I think that's wrong. It just doesn't work for me. It's this little yellow, and there is yellow here. Oh, now I'm disappointed. If that wasn't blue, it would have been perfect. Just put a couple of leaves. Yeah, let's do the leaves. Okay, I'm happy with the leaves. So these stickers I ordered from AliExpress. I don't know what shop or anything. I was just randomly browsing and thought they were pretty. I haven't bought anything from AliExpress for months and months and months. I go through little phases where I've got just a little bit of money and it's like, oh, I just want to order something that's pretty and usable and I haven't got. So every now and then I just have just spend a few dollars. Right, glue stick over here. Sorry about all the reaching today. I've been reaching under the camera quite a lot, I have noticed. Get a great shot of my grey hoodie. I'm sure it's exciting for you. And which way up does... I think it goes that way actually. Okay, it's going to go that way. It's probably not too important. It's just a background texture, isn't it? And I don't think this necessarily needs inking, but I'm going to do it anyway. And sorry, I'm just going to do it away from my desk because I am getting some crumbs today. And it's annoying having to keep brushing them off and getting little paint streaks in places I don't want them. Not paint streaks, ink streaks. Okay, so I can still put a topper there. I've still got room to put a topper if I want to put a topper. Okay, now it was the small leaves. Yes, the small leaves. Okay, let's get this, put this out the way, otherwise I'm going to end up knocking it off. I was using it the other day and Snuggles came up on the desk wanting cuddles. And I was actually writing and using the glue stick, and as I was writing she kept trying to push it, scratch up against the pen, which was super frustrating. And then before I knew it, she knocked the glue stick off onto the floor, and when I picked it up it was covered in fluff and cat fur, and it was just gross. I was like, oh, so unhelpful. Yeah, I like that. Just a few little leaves up there. And I think it's done. Do I want to add a little word? Will that show? If we add a word, will it show? No, it will not. Okay, let's look at a word. So it's that little surprise when you pull it out of the pocket. Harmony. I want to make sure I bring it in enough so if I trim off the edges, I'm not going to be trimming my word. Harmony. Uniquely you. That's a bit tall. and there's a little ink stain here from one of the crumbs that I brushed off. And so if I put a word here, it covers that up. Sneaky, huh? I wasn't born yesterday. Little sneaky. Any of these words would be fine. I don't know why I make it such a mission as to which one I'm going to choose. Hopeful. I like that. It's just whatever mood I'm in on the day as to what's speaking to me. Which is kind of funny because, you know, I don't know when I'll use the topper, when it will get used. It'll just go into my stash of pre-made items. And I might not be feeling hopeful on the particular day I use it. So sometimes I think that we labour over things in a weird way. But we've just got to do what makes us happy, don't we? And this makes me happy today. Right now, it makes me happy. So, little ink stain, you are no more. You were never there. You're not going to tell any tales now. Right, so once again, we'll just place that over there. So we get a little bit of our label showing, and I'm okay with that. It gives a hint of something, you know, some interest there. And then you pull it out and then you see, you know, the whole thing. So I am super happy with that. I kind of wish I had a journal cover that I had ready so I could glue it on, but I don't. So that's going to go on our journal here. Maybe I want to ink around this. I'm going to just do it over to the side here. I'm sorry, I know you can't see, but I'm just inking. Just putting some inky love on it. And I did have plans to do sort of a mixed media type thing on this bit. But I actually like the simplicity of that. So maybe I'll do another one another day where I do a bit more, you know, full on mixed media style. But the tag idea, having a tag in there, just was what direction was pulling me this morning. So I think that's super cute. Can you imagine it? You won't have to because I'm going to just demonstrate. So I've got some fabric here. I use this fabric for a backdrop when I'm taking photos and stuff. So imagine that's our cover. Just sort of roughly wrap it around. So that's our cover there. Very, very rough. You know, so if you had something plainish, or not even plain, but just this as an example, and then that as a topper, those colours don't really work together, but that's okay. It's just an example. I love that. I think that's super cool, and it wasn't difficult. Didn't take very long at all. It took far less time than I was anticipating, if I'm honest, and which I am. I thought it was going to take me quite a while to do this project, and I haven't rushed it. It's just been really pleasant spending this time with you guys, working out what I wanted to do, how I was going to do it, and I'm really happy with the results. One other thing I'm wondering is whether I do want to add a little embellishment. A butterfly would be quite nice, thinking down here where it's a little bit plainer. Just thinking what colour would go. Just gonna. This is one of the printables from my Patreon. Ooh, I like that. It is only on photocopy paper, so I need to strengthen it somehow. How are we going for time? Oh, we're racing on in time. Okay, I have an idea. I do. Oh, sorry, I'm just fishing and I fished out the wrong one. That's annoying. Okay, got the right one. So roll of just packing tape, because I want to protect it. It's going on the front of a cover, remember, so I want to protect it and give it a little bit of, oops, hopefully that's in the right place. It's on there now. So I'm going to put some tape on and then I'm going to cut it out. Do I want to put backing on it, like a bit of card or something like that? Maybe. And gee, do I have any card spare? It's a bit tatty, bit torn up, but it's got a lump of glue there from the box. So a bit of the tissue box that I cut off earlier. Yes, I think so. Let's layer it up on a bit of card. Make sure it's nice and strong and less likely to get damaged running around on the front of a cover. Okay, right, I'm just going to give that a good press down. First off, I'm just going to roughly trim around this to get rid of all the sticky bits that are hanging over the edge, because they will drive me nuts. There we go. See, I told you, don't throw any bits away because they're useful. Very useful. Okay, and I possibly want my little fussy cutting scissors. Hopefully this is the right colour I chose out. I didn't try any other colours, did I? Oh well, it's this one now. I don't have to go ahead and glue it on if I decide that it's not right. So I want to move this along too so that I don't go over time. Because yeah, we haven't got a huge amount of time left. It's amazing. I thought it was quite quick, but it still took up a good part of 3/4 of an hour. I did do a lot of talking though, didn't I? Right, I am going to cut off the antennae. Because I've got the tape over top, I can't distress them so to make them, you know, not so white if I left a little border around them. So I'm just going to cut them off. And I'm wondering if I've got any little wire or something. Don't think I do. Any wire nearby me. Because that could be quite cute, adding in little wire antennae. So you could, if you don't have the packing tape, but you've got some book cover, adhesive book cover, you could use that. You could use sellotape, although if it's narrow sellotape, then you'll have lines across it, but that's, you know, that's okay. Just looking at ways you can achieve the look if you don't have the particular supplies. There we go. And I think I will just do the edge, kind of not so much the top, but the edge of the card, the backing card. Make it not so white. Right. Oh yeah, yeah, that's cool. I like that. I think that's super pretty. And do I want to add in antennae? Have I got anything? That is the question. Have I got anything I can use that's handy? I don't think I do, but I want to look anyway. Yeah, I'm not going to get the top off that though, am I? No, too big, too thick. I know what would work, but I don't have one to hand, and that would be a twisty tie. You can take the metal out of the middle of a twisty tie, and it's super easy to cut. You can just cut it with scissors, and it's nice and fine. But I do not have one on my desk, and if I try and get up to grab one, even with you on pause, it's going to move everything because the wheels on my chair are under the tripod of the camera holder. So I don't like getting up when I'm filming, even if I put you on pause, because it's just a pain. So let's just glue the butterfly on, and because I'm not gluing it, I'm not going to glue it to the acetate, so I can always poke one in underneath. Okay, so let's move that out the way, and so I want to kind of go, I'm just roughly marking out so I know where to put the glue, because I don't want the glue, won't matter, will it? Because the glue won't show, because we're not taking this off. Gosh, get my brain working. Okay, I could glue it to the acetate, it would not matter. So I'm not going to worry about my line so much now. Sometimes you've got to do something before you realize that it's not super important. It's not going to show. But I do want to retain the ability to put in some antennae, so I'm not going to do in the middle where the head is. So I'm just going to still leave that gap, and I can always poke my glue nozzle in and put a bit more glue. So okay. So I've just got a little bit on that acetate there, but I've got this area here that's all clear, so I can still poke in some antennae if I decide to. I don't think it's necessary. It's totally fine with the antennae. I'm just reserving that option if I decide I want to. I've got a little bit of fluff in there somewhere. And there we go. There's our little journal topper with removable tag and a butterfly. Cool. I think that's, I think that works. I think I'm very happy with that. I'm glad I thought of adding a butterfly. It just makes me happy. Awesome. So obviously probably go on a nature themed journal or something along those lines, I imagine. Who knows? We'll find out when we get there. Thanks so much for joining me today, everybody. I hope you enjoyed this project, and hopefully it inspired you to get busy and make something in your crafting space. So I'll catch you again very soon, my friends. Take care, everybody. Bye.